Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
We are following several big stories for you here at noon. The stock market plummeting today following President Trump's new tariffs. This as global trade partners vow to retaliate.
But first, a breaking news update. A woman has died following that house explosion in Southgate. Thanks for joining us here at noon, everyone. I'm Jason Colthorpe.
And I'm Rhonda Walker. If you look at the devastation here, one home completely gone, and there's not much left of the house next door. Local 4 has been on top of this story since it first came into our newsroom early this morning.
Will Jones is at that devastating scene. And Will, we obviously know the female woman, the female who lived at that home has died. Any word on the man who was thrown from that building this morning?
Right now, he remains in the hospital. He's being treated. I want to show you the scene behind me. You see crews are hard at work here. The house where this happened exploded. It is no longer there. In the house next door, it is barely standing, heavily damaged by fire. And this caused widespread damage in this community. If we can just walk this way and just show you, like, that house right there, all down the block there is damaged. And this debris went all over the place. It's all in the trees, and the sound of this explosion could be heard for at least a mile away. So this is quite a massive scene and a very devastating scene for officers and, of course, the family of these victims. Let's talk about what we learned from Southgate Police this morning. When they arrived on scene, they spotted a 38-year-old man who had been blown from his home into the front yard. He had extensive burns and internal injuries. The man was pulled to safety and taken to Detroit Receiving Hospital, where he's being treated for serious injuries. Southgate police officers and Southgate firefighters located a 37-year-old female, the man's wife, trapped in the rubble near a fire. And we heard from a neighbor that when he came out, he heard screams of "help me, help me." The female was rescued and taken to Detroit Receiving Hospital, where she later died. We spoke with Southgate Police about what this scene was like for officers when they arrived here.
I think it speaks volumes for these guys who worked midnights. They worked 11 out of the 12 hours of their shift, and an hour left of their shift. They're tasked with a monumental call. They rushed in and tried to do what they could to do life-saving measures on the female that was trapped. There was still an active fire burning. The fire was intense. The injuries were intense, and the officers were actively attempting to rescue the female from the rubble. They had difficulty pulling her out to safety, and the firefighters with their safety gear were actually able to help pull that female from the rubble.
Back here live, you're taking a live look at the scene here. We're hearing from Southgate Police that they believe this was caused by a gas explosion, but that still remains under investigation. A lot of questions, but they're going to be here throughout the day, probably for the next several days, trying to clear all this debris. Neighbors extremely startled. I spoke with one man who had cell phone video of them rescuing one of the victims from the fire, and it was quite horrific and devastating to see. A lot of people are just troubled by this happening and the end result, but this is under investigation. And if you live around here or are planning to come in this area, they're asking people to steer clear of it because you can see this massive scene behind me. So we're going to be out here throughout the day, and of course we'll have more on air as well as Click on Detroit. But for right now, we're live in Southgate. Will Jones, Local 4.
Yeah, still eerie to see all that debris scattered into the trees behind Will there. All right, Will, we appreciate it.
Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with the family who lost their loved one. Well, folks have a lot of cleaning up to do after heavy rain overnight caused major flooding in many homes across Metro Detroit.
Several streets in Dearborn Heights were underwater and still are for residents there. It's nothing new. They've seen it before, but it doesn't mean they're not any less frustrated. Victor Williams live for us there this afternoon. Victor?
Oh, yeah. Hey there, Jason and Rhonda. So the good news is that the water is at least receding a little bit. You can see the lines where that water has kind of gone down a little bit, but still it is quite the sight to see this entire street where we are right now, Telegraph and Hanover, just about underwater. You can see how far that water comes up at the measurement of the cars that are right over there. It looks like it's almost hitting that door handle, and it doesn't look like at this point that it's draining moving as fast as they want it to be. You have residents here who are stranded. Take a look at also this video from above that shows how bad it is. We're told that also, unfortunately, some homes have flooded because of this. Take a listen right now from Dearborn Heights Mayor Bill Bazzi on that situation.
We roughly have about 4 or 5 homes that have flooded basements. We're still taking calls, and we're assessing some of the streets to see. This is the worst street that I've seen so far in our city, and I've been serving all the way from Inkster all the way down to Southfield. This is probably the worst street that we've seen so far.
And we're going to talk to some of those people who have to deal with this. I mean, a lot of them are frustrated because this is not the first time that they have had to deal with flooding, but this is horrible to this magnitude. We're going to be talking to those folks, and we'll have that for you coming up at 5 and 6. For now, we are live in Dearborn Heights. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Certainly feel for all of those residents. At least the rain has stopped.
Yeah, that's a very good sign, Ashley, although we had a little bit more come through this morning, yet the temperatures are sure making it feel like it's moved through.
Yeah, I mean, we have the sunshine, the warmer temperatures, so we know that the rain is behind us, but because of the standing water that we're still dealing with, like you saw in Victor's live shot there, flood warnings have been extended across the area. These were originally set to lift at 7 a.m. They then got extended to 10 a.m. and now they have been extended till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And that's for the eastern edge of Washtenaw County, throughout a good chunk of Wayne County, southern Oakland and Macomb counties. And so flooding will still be a concern, even with the drier pattern that we are now in. Local rainfall reports impressive. So Dearborn Heights, where that flooding is, well, we picked up 2.62 inches of rain. Now, of course, that also came with the flooding with the rivers there. But Pittsfield Township, over 3 inches of rain. Sterling Heights saw over 2.5 inches as well. So we had quite a potent system roll through. It was a 1-2 punch. Warm front brought the warmer air and the early morning rain yesterday, and then that cold front brought the overnight rain showers. So that was about a 26-hour total for most of those areas. 65 degrees though in the city, 61 in Ann Arbor, 59 in Pontiac, and 61 in Monroe. It's windy out there with sustained winds around 20 miles per hour, but certainly warmer as we are soaking in the 60s while they last. Colder air will be working its way in. We'll be right around 64 at Metro Airport for a high today, but we'll talk about tomorrow's home opener forecast and the weekend forecast next.
U.S. stocks taking a nosedive this morning after President Trump announced sweeping taxes on imports. You're taking a live look at the big board there at the New York Stock Exchange. More than 1,200 points in the hole for the Dow Jones. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq also falling sharply, wiping out trillions in value in the first few minutes of trading. Retail stocks like Nike and Ralph Lauren, which rely on overseas production, were hit the hardest, and small businesses also feeling the pinch as well. Economists warn this could lead to a recession.
And countries around the world are threatening to retaliate, especially China, after it's hit with the highest U.S. tariffs. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer explains why Americans will likely end up paying the price.
The reaction here in China has been swift, warning of retaliation or counterstrike if the U.S. continues to push ahead with tariffs at least 54% on all Chinese products. And that's everything: T-shirts, toys, car parts, air fryers, laptops, all the things Americans use every day. Factory owners here tell me they can't absorb the costs. The margins are already thin on the manufacturing side, so ultimately they say it will be U.S. consumers who have to pay. China's Commerce Ministry is describing President Trump's trade war as blackmail. And state media today, in editorials, were calling the tariffs unilateral bullying. There's a lot the government here can pull out of a retaliation toolbox that they've been assembling: counter tariffs, export controls on critical minerals, investigations of U.S. companies doing business here. But duties are also hitting the rest of Asia, which was a shock. India, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Taiwan, all facing double-digit tariffs. These are all formal or nominal treaty allies or security partners of the U.S. Also, the expectation of a summit between President Trump and China's leader Xi Jinping is, for now, from Beijing's perspective, unlikely to happen if the tariffs on China are not removed. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, Beijing.
All right, Janice, thank you. In response to the new tariffs, Stellantis is pausing production at its Windsor plant and laying off 900 workers. The layoffs impact workers at the Warren and Sterling Heights plants, as well as a facility in Indiana. President Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles took effect at midnight, and Stellantis says it's collaborating with industry leaders to navigate these changes. Amid concerns these new tariffs could drive up car prices, Ford has a deal for you. It's extending their employee discount to everyone. The company is calling it From America for America and gives businesses a discount on, buyers a discount on a range of vehicles, including gas, hybrid, diesel. Ford says that it knows that times are tough for many Americans right now, and hopefully the offer will help people get reliable cars for their families. If you are looking to take advantage of this deal, you have a little time. It lasts until June 2nd.